Dacha Washa Michael Larson, Washa Nieman de Pungyu. Hello, everybody. This is Mike Larson from BBC IML, and this is A Moment with Mike. So I decided to brave the bugs out here tonight. It's not a bad night. It's a little muggy. I guess we got some severe thunderstorms moving in, so I'm sure we'll have a noisy night tonight. Last night we had some bad storms across northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. Some neighbors not far from here lost their garage and their barns and lots of trees. So it was a nasty night weather-wise. But today was a little frustrating day for my funnel. Trying to make all the payments integrations work can be challenging. I'm not a techie guy, so I'm learning as I go. But that's important. We got to learn. We got to be growing constantly. So, but one of my good friends, Chad Lennox, I see Jason, his brother, is on right now, and I see Lynn is on right now. Thanks for joining us. But Chad was up to spend a couple days with me. So today, yesterday we hiked around Long Lake on my morning hike. And then we went into Bayfield, and I had done my Facebook Live yesterday about Bayfield and about dreams and goals. Today, I took him on another hike, and I don't think he might have gone with me if I'd have told him what it was like before we went, but he hiked with me about 5 miles, and we're in the deep woods. It's really rainforest down there, up in the high country south of Lake Superior. And there was lots of deer flies and lots of mosquitoes. And, this is something I do every day. So I will either run or I will hike the whole 5 miles every day. So I've gotten in pretty good shape. And I know when I go down there, some days the bugs are so bad, I'll just run the whole thing just to keep ahead of the bugs. But if you're not used to running, you might get a little tired. Yeah, Wendy's on. She said she doesn't think he's going to be doing that again. I think you're right. I don't think he'll be going with me again on that one. But he wanted to rest a few times. I'm used to it, so I don't really need to rest. But he wanted to rest a few times. But when he stopped, the bugs were so bad that he thought he was going to get eaten alive. And we talked a little bit about that TV show. I think it's called Scared and Naked or something like that, where they're 21 days in the rainforest naked, and I think we kind of likened it to that this morning, but but it's all about motivation, if that really does make me think about exercising and where your motivation comes from. He was very motivated to keep moving this morning, even though I think he got a little bit tired, and we got back to the truck, and both my dog and him, naked and afraid, okay, but both my dog and I we're ready to get into the truck, and Chad said he was ready about halfway through the walk. So, but you think about that, and you think about some of the things that you do in life and finding motivation. And we want to find motivation in life that keeps us going. We want to have passion. Passion is where strength lies. So most of the time we want to find a motivation that's about passion, but leverage, pain, can motivate us for the moment. I've talked about the brain and the conscious mind, where you have two modes in the conscious mind. One is acquisition of knowledge. When you're in acquisition mode, you're in pleasure mode. You're enjoying it. When you're in survival mode, that's fight or flight mode. That's because you're leveraged. There's something that's bothering you, is something that's scary, something that reminds you of death. And at first, when you're in survival mode, you're in fight mode, and you're very productive. And I'm sure Chad was in fight mode. He wanted to get out of there. So otherwise, it's escape mode. And maybe towards the end, he was in escape mode. Let's get out of here. Let's get into the truck. But he was very motivated to keep going. And he said he probably wouldn't have to exercise for a whole nother week because of that. But so I kind of enjoyed it and felt bad for him at the same time. And but it was a learning lesson for him. I think he'll know better than to go on that hike with me unless the bugs are better, or he maybe asked me first what's going on. But I was proud of him. He stuck through it, and he got all the way through the whole walk, and he did good. So But today I was working on the funnels, and the reason entrepreneurs succeed is because they find a way to push themselves through. Just like that walk this morning. Even though the bugs were the thing that was pushing Chad through that, he found a way to push himself through that walk this morning. There's lots of challenges that come up with the pandemic. We're all finding out that there's lots of new challenges in life. And to do the same things we used to do takes different paths or different plans. And we have to be able to push ourselves through that because there's going to be new challenges and there's going to be things we've never done before. So we have to find that why that pushes us through it. And that's what I have to do every day. I have to think about, well, what the heck is this idea? What is this result I'm looking for? What's my bucket list that I really want to do? And I got to think about that. How would I feel when that happens? What would that be like? What would it smell like? What would it feel like? What would it taste like? And I have to think about that because then that pushes me through. It gets me emotionally attached to it. My subconscious mind then is working, and I'm constantly finding new ways of doing it. So if one thing doesn't work, I've got another thing lined up that I can try. But I'm always moving forward. Once in a while, maybe you have to take a step back to take two forward later, but that's okay. If you find yourself trapped, you find it's stopping you, that's the plan that didn't work out. It wasn't the idea. So that's what I'm learning over and over again, is that there's all kinds of challenges that are happening. But if there isn't challenges in front of you, maybe the reward isn't very big either. That's what I've learned about life is when the challenges are big, there's always a pretty big reward after it. If the challenges aren't that much, the reward usually doesn't turn out to be that much. And that's universal law, that's God's law, that's Tao Te Ching. They all talk about how challenge is what sets you up for accomplishment, because you have to be ready to be able to accept this huge accomplishment, this huge responsibility of this accomplishment. And those lessons that we learn in life, those challenges, are what get us ready to be able to handle this huge responsibility of this accomplishment that's come along and this success that will come to us. And it's true in every bit of life. And I think people most of the time tie money to success. And I think we also have to consider that, yes, money will come along some point along the way, but make sure that you count successes in other ways also. That way you keep motivating yourself. So you need momentum. We cannot ask ourselves for change. We cannot ask ourselves to take on a challenge unless we have some momentum, unless we believe in ourselves. And you have to be constantly increasing your belief, and that's called momentum. So you have to have these wins. You have to find wins. When it's success, it might not come as you expected it to be, but find it. Find what that success is and be proud of it. Be happy. Be thankful for it. That's how you build momentum. That's how you build belief. See, you can stretch your belief a little bit, but you stretch it too far and it breaks and you fall back. So be cognizant of that. If you feel like you're taking on too much, you're biting off more than you think you can handle, maybe you are. Maybe you need to back it off a little bit and take a little bit smaller bite and give yourself a reward when you get through that smaller bite, because then there's always the next step. And we can always take a next step forward. We always can. There's no doubt in my mind. Every time I've gotten stuck someplace, I've always find another step forward, even if it's a small step, but then celebrate that. You accomplished it, you thought of it, your subconscious mind brought something to you and you made it happen. And that's because you had the right mindset going in. You had the mindset of acquisition of knowledge instead of survival. Survival puts us in a bad situation eventually. You could be productive initially in survival mode, but eventually you escape. And that's when bad things start to happen. And we don't want to be in escape. We want to be in acquisition mode all the time. So I see Dave has joined us now, and Katrina and Gertie. I appreciate you joining me for my Facebook Live. For those of you maybe that haven't watched me before, I am by the Lake Superior right here. It's in my background. I don't always come out here. Last night the weather was getting kind of nasty out, and the bugs were really bad last night, so I did it inside. But I try to be out here as much as possible. There are some mosquitoes out here tonight, but it's warm and humid, and gives me a good backdrop, better than my office. But I hope you guys enjoy the message. I do this every night at 7 o'clock, so I hope this finds you well. Hope you guys have a super fantastic evening. Just in a closing on this, if you're being stuck right now with the way the world is running, the way the world is, we're all going through it right now. We have to find a way to get through this together. The pandemic will eventually go away. Things will get back to some resemblance of normal. It's never going to be the same again. The world has changed now. But we need to help each other out in these types of situations. But always think about what your next step would be. If you feel yourself stuck, if you feel like you're not getting any place, then step back for a second and think about, okay, I might not be able to take that huge step right now, but what's a step I can take in that direction? And then what am I going to do? How am I going to celebrate that step in that direction so I can start to build momentum, and then I can ask myself for change? So, once again, I hope you guys have a super fantastic evening. I hope this finds you well, and I hope you enjoyed the message. I really enjoy when people give me some ideas for these Facebooks, because then it has a meaning for you. So if there's something you'd like me to talk about, I'd really appreciate it. You can email me at mike@inspiredmotivatedleadership.com, or text me on Messenger, or send me a message on Inspired Motivated Leadership on Facebook or my regular Facebook page. If you have an idea of something, or if there's something you're stuck with in life and you don't mind me talking about it on here, I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to help work through those things. So have a super fantastic evening, and we will talk soon.